ready. Griffon.
Griffon looks like a moving video cassette recorder, but look for the fast forward button. At 19 mph, no one can match that thrust. Its lifting arm is powered by linear actuators. To you and me and you, Craig, that means electronic pistons.
Robot ears, stand by.
Oliver Steeples driving there on the right with Ben Steeples, his brother.
I can't tell you much about it because it's classified, but I'll show you the weapon, which is a lifting arm that can lift and flip other robots.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Was it just me, or did that lifting arm look very, very slow? Beyond the spikes, well, thinking about them anyway, the movable video cassette recorder with the two front prongs.
One of the house robots is going over. I've got a lifting arm, so I might as well use it.
Well, Ben, I'm hoping you're the sensible brother here. Is that what you're hoping for as well?
Yeah, I've been screaming at him to go down the other way, but he wouldn't listen, and I was take out a house robot, and he'll end up in a pit like Mortis.
And he says he enjoyed watching Oliver making an idiot of himself in the first wars. But what can Oliver do now? A graduate from Reading University flipped up. You can see the Matilda cam there close up. And Oliver, who loves 3D cartoons, this is a little bit Mickey Mouse, and you could be on the way to Pluto.
Cease.
Unlucky. We've enjoyed having the brothers, but their confirmation, the worst result so far. Griffon, out.
So the war goes on. You don't regret spending the whole of your summer building a robot?
No, thanks to everyone who helped me in the workshop and bits and pieces. I know who they are.
Internet insurrection. And the first of our contenders, Griffon, driven by Oliver Steeples, who's produced a well-laid-out and informative website. Plenty of detail and specs.
They're basically fan websites that have been put together since
The last war?
And basically it's really sort out once and for all who's got the best one.
Adam reckons he's got a good one, and we think he hasn't. We're winning with 3 other robots, and so it should be interesting.
That should be good. Looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Robot ears, stand by.
All robots remote control driven, or are they?
3, 2, 1, activate.
That's Corporal Punishment making the early drive against Griffon on the spikes. Griffon needs to get out from there. That's Killerhurtz and Griffon coming in. Oh, I thought I saw a chain flail away from Matilda. Look at this! Bash is going and going! And all the teams love that. Griffon it was who turned the sergeant over. Corporal Punishment coming in to have a little bit of a piece of that, a little bit too late. There's Killerhurtz. And the house robots have seen the Killerhurtz team celebrating the demise of Bash, and they want revenge. And Bodyhammer being pressed in because they're going for Killerhurtz here first, and over it goes. So Shunt gets revenge on behalf of Bash, and Killerhurtz is gone, immobilised. Shunt comes in for a little piece of damage too. I don't think Killerhurtz is going to get back into action. This is just more damage onto the flames. Dead metal there at the top of your picture. Look at the slice out of that, no impact. Are you sure? Ah, that's what happened to the mascot. Bodyhammer with the yellow stripes. Still in there fighting. This is Griffon. And again, that mighty heave. Oh, lifting ram. Bodyhammer spins away, still very much alive, but now pinned in by dead metal. Look at the little flail there. Very dangerous, like a savage wasp sting. Dead metal is bumped up into the air by Bodyhammer. Turning again. Done well so far, Bodyhammer. Little spin. That's Corporal Punishment being pinned in by the sergeant, and I think that's the end of Corporal Punishment. They're immobilised, they're out of it. It's Bodyhammer now against Griffon. Bodyhammer doing all the aggression. Griffon pushed down by dead metal onto a spike, trying to get away there, look. I can see Matilda in the background. Ooh, good turning here by Griffon. That's good steering and control. Matilda's sparks fly. She senses victory could be hers. I don't think it can be, though. I think Griffon will get away, and this is a good attack here by Bodyhammer in underneath, but it's pinned in now under dead metal. I think Bodyhammer's now immobilised itself, and Griffon was still going at the end, only just. Who's won it? Very close.
We are waiting for a judge's decision. Before we decide, let's have a look at some of the highlights of that fight.
No doubting the early highlight for the crowd. Sergeant Bash flipped up and over by Griffon. Killerhurtz celebrating, and this was their payback from the house robots. That was enough really to put Killerhurtz out of it. This is another great heave-ho. The aggressive Griffon. Bodyhammer pins itself in. Griffin still moving at the end. Very tight, this.
And the judge's decision is Griffon! Griffon, come off the platform! Well, you've won the website Grudge match. How do you feel?
All I wanted to do this time was take over a house robot. Sorry, blokes. Make better time next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. www.thrash.bang.wallet.
Other familiar faces, Oliver and his brother. Brother, am I right? The Griffon team? Yes, they promised me it's bigger, better, bolder.
Berkshire. Griffon.
Demolished a garden wall in testing. Solid weight at 78.7 kilos, but the polycarbonate shell could be vulnerable. The weapon's a lifting arm, improved since the last series.
Hi, I'm Oliver, and this is Ben, and this is Griffon. We entered last year, didn't do too well at all, but this year we've made a few changes. We've got 2 extra wheels to help with manoeuvrability. We've got a slightly different gear ratio, so it's more powerful. But mainly, the biggest change is the lifting arm that can now lift 300 kilograms, which should lift even the biggest house robots.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's Daisy Chopper. Dad, Eric Hodgkins, is a systems technician. Griffin with the Steeples brothers.
3,
Ben, currently studying for a degree.
1. Captain it.
Isn't Daisy Chopper a strange-looking thing? Look at that great weapon spinning away. I don't know about you, but I had no understanding whatsoever when they tried to describe how it worked. Looks like some great thing from the Industrial Revolution, from a sewing mill or something. Anyway, Griffon moves away to come in on the attack again. Its boast, it can hoist any house robot. Yeah, right. Try telling Killerlot that. This is a curious battle here now. Griffon, much the lower, of course. A ground clearance of only 15 millimetres. The great tyres of Daisy Chopper give it weight and traction, but flicked up and over. Defence mechanism, a Shremek, self-righting. But what power is in that bizarre circular saw come hammer? Oh, now look at the tyre. Has one of the tyres there been lifted away from its wheelbase? Slightly, I think. Not a great deal of damage. I wonder how it's affected mobility. Griffon moving swiftly across the arena floor, but in towards a CPZ, occupied by Bash, the corner patrol zone, with its pincer there. Dangerous manoeuvre for Griffon. Oliver Steeples at the controls. Wants to work in computer special effects. He loves his football. He loves his paintball games. No splash of colour on Griffon, and no great movement there either. What's happened here? Have the 2 electric motors gone on Griffon? It's moving very slowly, very pensively. Daisy Chopper just to the left there. The wheels spinning, but not a great deal of movement. Oh, and Griffon's gone into the CPZ now. Away from Bash, I should think. I don't think Bash can get the pincers to work because Griffon is so low. The arena wall. Ha! Now there's the boast! Come to life. That's great stuff. Well done, Oliver. Lifting up Bash, the house robot. He'll be annoyed. Dead Metal is his roommate here. Down in the Robot Wars changing rooms. Will not be pleased either, and coming in for revenge now with the circular blade and the great pincers. Trying to chop off that lifting arm of Griffon. Not making a great inroad into it. Well, this one will go to the judges, I'm sure, and it's going to be very, very close. Damage sustained late on by Griffon as time runs out. Thing is, that damage, you know, was caused by the house robots and not by Daisy Chopper. That could be as decisive as the fact that Daisy Chopper seemed immobilised to me at the end. We'll wait and see, though.
I wouldn't like to call that one, but the judges have given it to Griffon.
Oh, yeah.
Are you really appealing?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Go on.
Well, he was immobilised for most of that match. We did get the attacks in on him. He did try and lift us, but they don't do anything. And although he did go for the house robots, which is a good thing, he did drive into the patrol zones, which is the bad thing. So it's so close it could go the other way this time.
At the end, I think they had more aggression. They had slightly better control, but we thought, oh, we flipped them once, and thought, if we do it again, they're just going to go over and over. So we thought, it's 4 house robots, one of us, fair odds. So I thought we'd go for one of them, and at least we'll get it up in the air. We would have got bash over, but the barrier stopped it. And then we thought, oh, Dead Metal, that's the house robot this year, so we'll have a go.
Well, certainly for me, Griffon finished the stronger. Daisy Choppers seem to be immobilised. The judge is making their decision now, and it's going to be heartbreak one way or the other.
We have the results. The judges have deliberated, and sadly for you guys, they have gone in favour 2-1 for the Griffon team. So you still hold the victory. And I do have here combat sheets, which are what the judges use when they're working stuff like this out. So they're quite happy for you to have a look at those. They are the damage, aggression, control and style that they've marked you on. So there you go. You can take those away. Thank you very much. Sorry it didn't turn out more successfully. Okay, happy?
Good luck, boys. See you next year.
Griffon team, that's a very beautiful robot that you're up against. In fact, I think it's probably the most beautiful robot we have. Are you going to scar it horribly?
I think we've got enough scars to know our robots go around, so we're okay.
Okay, what tactics are you going to use then?
We've got a big lifter, so we'll lift it and hopefully push it and lift it and push it.
Into the pit, or just lift it and push it?
Lift it and push it.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll look out for that then.
Well, it's Beauty and the Beast. Which is Beauty and which is the Beast in the cherry pickers? We've yet to decide. But there is Griffon with Oliver and Ben Steeples, the brothers. There is Cerberus with Vasily, Theo, and young Alex.
2, 1, activate.
London against Berkshire. Cerberus, the London team, glossy, shiny. Don't forget, has that steel head ram to push Griffon into the pit straight away. In the end, turned tail did Cerberus and gave it a final little nudge on the attack with the steel claws right at the start. That was when the damage was caused. Griffon couldn't get away. And then the final shove came in with a steel clubbing tail. And down went Griffon into the pit.
We're through to our heat final. Let's hear it for Cerberus.